Hey, welcome to Battleground Believers. We're back again this week. We got Scott back in the studio, which is amazing, and we actually have his wife Jenny in here. We want to thank you for being a part of the audience. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Really helps the channel. And we're on all kinds of streaming sites: Spotify, YouTube, Apple Music. There's all kinds that you can find us on. We have a TikTok page and a Facebook page. And our email address is battlegroundbelievers@gmail.com. Feel free to reach out to us. We really want to start interacting with people. We think that's important. And let us know if you like what we're doing, or kind of your thoughts on things. We would appreciate that. But today we're going to continue telling his story through your story. In the last 2 weeks, we talked about your story.
Yeah.
But there was somebody that was sitting in the other room listening to your story and has a different perspective. And through discussion and stories that you told off air, I thought, man, this is going to be a really interesting aspect, because we heard your story. Now we're going to see somebody that watched it from another that has her own story, and how these two collide.
Yeah.
And so, Jenny, welcome. Thank you so much for being willing to come in here and be a part of this. We got like 1 million viewers, or 80 or something like that that are gonna see you. But let's start. Like, how'd you guys meet? Like, was a dating website? Was it Tinder?
Originally?
Oh, was there original?
Originally, we met in
1989
when I took her to jail.
I usually go out to dinner,
officer.
but
yeah.
Yeah.
I was a police officer at the time, and I stopped a car in the middle of the night, and she was in it, and there was alcohol in the car, and so she went to jail. She was 19. She went to jail for minor possession of alcohol.
Wow. Dang, girl.
Yeah. So.
Well, we know you party.
I was a tiny bit of a rebel.
Was that scary?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, that was very scary.
Mm-hmm.
I had great parents, but you did not mess with my mom, and that was a bad night.
Oh yeah,
a very bad night.
I'm deathly afraid to go to prison. One, I'm too pretty for prison,
Exactly,
and I'm not strong enough to defend myself.
Fortunately, it was just for a few hours in the county jail, and my mom came and got me.
All right, honest moment. Was there? Now, I understand you're under the stress, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to jail. My mom's going to kill me. But was there a moment where you're like, I like a man in uniform?
No.
I didn't think so, but I was hoping maybe make you feel good.
No.
But what about you? And you're cuffing her, were you like?
No. In fact, it was years later after we got together that I vaguely remembered it.
Oh, so it wasn't like you saw her and went, I remember.
It wasn't, she was one of hundreds of kids that I took to jail for minor possession, so, it didn't stand out in any way, but I did vaguely remember it.
It's kind of neat, though, to think, like, however many years earlier that you guys.
It was about 19 or 20 years later that we got together.
Did you know he was the arresting officer when you saw him?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So you walk into softball.
I actually requested, when my husband at the time became his assistant coach, I flipped and asked him to get the kids put on a different team. I didn't, I was so embarrassed. I didn't want that. But he had no recollection whatsoever. None.
Yeah.
So when you guys, obviously, you coach softball. Her husband becomes the assistant coach. You're teaching your daughters and your daughters.
Yep, all 4 of them.
And so I know what it's like to be a coach and then have an assistant coach and then getting to know the parents. Mm-hmm. So in the beginning, did you guys become friends pretty quickly, or did it take a few seasons?
We were just friendly.
Or was it your kids became really good friends and so you guys were connected that way?
I don't think she could stand me at the beginning.
No.
Oh, you're a narc.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's fun to us now that we can. I actually was able to go back to when he and Dan were first coaching together, and we actually had an end of season party at our house, and we have pictures of our kids together, and him with our kids, and Dan with his kids. which is fun now, but no, it was not. I mean, I was mortified, literally mortified.
Because she thought I remembered it all and knew who she really was, you know, and I had no idea.
And
I had no idea what her maiden name was before she married Dan, you know, at the time.
And Dan and I had been going through a rough period, and he was sick as well. And we actually did end up divorced prior to him passing away.
Okay.
I'd forgotten that part.
Yeah, that actually was the catalyst for me leaving the Catholic Church.
The divorce.
The divorce.
When you were going to the Catholic Church, did you enjoy that, or?
I like the comfort of the everything every week is the same except the homily, and there's something very comforting about that
ritual.
The ritualistic portions, yes.
Yeah, my grandparents were Lutheran.
Same thing.
Yeah. That we call that Catholic light.
Yeah.
And
right.
I started going to a church that had like a band and stuff, and I was talking to my grandpa one time because I'm not a smart person. The way I said it was, Grandpa, how do you go to church? Your church is so boring. You know, how do you do it? And I'll never forget. He looked at me and he said, every single Lutheran church is saying the exact same thing. We say the same prayers every week. And he said, you don't have to question it because you know it's true. And he's like, I love that consistency. And I thought, you're so old, Grandpa.
One of our daughters remains a practicing Catholic.
Yeah.
She's married to a wonderful guy that grew up in a Catholic family, and they're raising their children. So we do have occasion to go back to the Catholic Church for grandkids' baptisms and things like that. But it was just, you know, in the Catholic Church, especially, you know, 20 years ago, getting divorced was a no-no.
Oh yeah, I was Nazarene, and that was a.
And I left, and it did leave a big hole. I mean, it sincerely left a big hole in my heart.
When you left, you left the Catholic Church because of divorce. Did you think of yourself like I still believe in Jesus, or were you
definitely. I've never stopped believing.
Okay,
I was no longer a practicing Catholic.
Now,
and we had when we met a little while later, and then after that got married, we had such a divide between our growing up years and early adult years religiously that when we were first married, how many churches did we try?
Several.
And he would say, I don't like it because of this. And then I would say, I don't like it because of this. Because I was used to the ritualistic and the calm. And
none of them had that ritual.
And he was more used to the, you know.
Yeah, I understand.
So it was truly a happy accident and God leading us. My brother was raised Catholic too. I mean, all three of us kids were raised Catholic, and
Kim was Lutheran,
and my sister-in-law was Lutheran, yes, and both my niece and my nephew had been baptized in the Lutheran Church as infants.
Did when you guys first got together, was faith a part of the conversation? Like
no.
you know, when you first start dating, there's always the fun, like when you're laying in bed talking and you talk about life. And my wife and I used to dream about what we hoped life would be.
We briefly discussed having a child of our own and quickly dismissed that.
Our kids were
middle school age. And
they were freshman, and 7th grader.
Yeah.
Well, my wife, when I met her, she had already, she had
tubes
a hysterectomy. And so I used to joke around because I knew I didn't have to worry about it. But I was like, we should have a baby. I think that baby's going to be beautiful with your looks and my looks. And but it was all a joke because I don't think emotionally I could have handled a baby at when we got together at like 32. I don't think I could have handled another child. So there was no discussion. Like, did you try to share your faith, or did she try to share her faith? Was any of that in there?
Not at the time.
So how did deciding to go to church come about? Did somebody just say, "Hey, I'd like to go to church on Sunday"?
No, it was my brother. When he and his family were baptized at Murray, they invited us to come, and I felt that commitment to him to be there, and we went, and we left the church after, I mean, it had been, what, 12, 13 years that we'd been, we'd go one place and then not go back, and
We go a couple times. and
walked
go back,
out, and I sat down in the car, and I looked at him and I said, I liked that.
The Murray Church.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, we did the same thing. My daughter-in-law got baptized at Life Church in Huntington,
Okay.
and we had just started going back because we like raged against the machine for a while.
Yeah.
And then my wife comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to go to church," and I was like, "Well, this sucks." But I love my wife, so I'm going to go to church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we were trying this church in Fort Wayne, and then Mariah, my daughter-in-law, said, "Yeah, I'm getting baptized. Would you guys to come?" And we went, and then we were there, and I felt the Spirit move,
There
and
you go.
so that's why we're
Yeah.
there. But
Right.
that's pretty interesting that you went to. God probably knew all along.
Sure.
Hey,
Mhm.
Murray Church is where I want these two.
Yeah.
I just got to figure out a way to
To
make
get 'em
these
there.
knuckleheads get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And the really cool thing for me, and it kind of came full circle for me, because I was just baptized a few months ago. But my nephew, I was his godmother when he was born, when he was baptized as a Lutheran. And 3 months ago, my 18-year-old nephew, Will, was a part of baptizing me.
nice.
Yeah.
It was
That was cool.
it was very cool
Yeah. Well,
and very special.
redemption.
Mm-hmm.
The redemption story can be amazing,
Yeah.
and it's so much better in hindsight because
Oh, yeah.
sometimes when you're going through things, you don't realize
Oh yeah.
the way the Lord worked and moved. It's sometimes it makes me frustrated. It's like, Lord, I wish you'd just lay it out, but it's always like afterwards, and you look back and you go, man, there was God.
Well, and I've learned things from my 16 and 18-year-old niece and nephew over the last 3 years. I've watched them and learned things from them that made a difference in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
Truly made a difference in my journey.
So do you have forgive me, but do you have a daily routine for yourself now to pray and read your
I do.
Bible? Yeah.
I do. I read every morning, which is why I'm in Leviticus right now and having such an incredibly difficult time. I had committed myself once we started going to church and he started talking to me about getting baptized. I said, I'm not going to even consider it until I've read the Bible cover to cover.
Mhm.
And then once I had finished, I had talked to our pastor and we made things move forward from there. But I decided I wanted to go back and start again and go cover to cover one more time to make sure that I picked everything up. And as I...
But you'll never pick everything up.
No.
Never.
No. The Old Testament's tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
I was very blessed and very lucky. We had an interim pastor, Pastor Mark, and I had told him, I said, I am having so much trouble with these long books and chapters that are talking about the cubits and how big things are. And he just looked at me and he said, are you planning on being a theologist? And I said, no. And he said, skip it.
That's from the pastor.
Well, yeah.
He said, you don't need to know how big those buildings are and what the garments were made out of. And
Yeah.
he said, that's not, unless you're going to be a theologist. So there are things that I have glossed over, but I am committed to finishing a second time, and I probably will stick more to the New Testament.
Yeah.
But
But excuse me. The important thing is we're reading the word. It says
Yeah.
the word is living and active, right?
Yeah.
And it never returns void.
right.
And so if we're saturating that in our lives, that's how we're going to grow. But when you guys first got together and you first started dating, did you have a prayer and Bible reading time? Because you had kind of alluded to that you did. And did you watch him do that and think, or you just watched him do it and thought, oh, there he goes back in the office. He'll be back in 20 minutes. And he'll be...
Yeah. My argument, and I used that argument for 10 to 12 years, was that I had a relationship with God. I talked to God. I don't need anything else.
No.
Yeah.
I don't need anything else. And
I think God saw it different.
I think he did too. And I do, like I said, I read the Bible every day. I do, intermittently, I will do the Bible app and do pick something out that is going on in my life currently, a topic, and then let it send me what I need to read.
We're getting ready to start a couples.
He's supposed to be
Devotional.
working on that. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I want something with prompts.
Yeah.
For us to actually
Okay.
discuss.
Three options coming. We'll pick out one we want.
But I mean,
well, yeah. So I was going to ask you, and I hope this doesn't come out wrong, but like, you're a believer, you're a Catholic, but then you go to this church and you start listening. Was there another moment where you're like, okay, I know who Jesus is, but now I really want to commit my life? Did you have another moment of like, not necessarily getting saved, but just saying, hey, I want to make sure. You know, a lot of people know God and they talk about God and they talk about Jesus, and that's great. But the reality is, it's not us knowing Him; it's Him knowing us,
right?
And having that personal relationship. That's the important thing, right? And spending time with Him. It's not just like, yeah, dear Lord, save me from my sins. I'm good.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
and then that's it. And that's kind of what we're talking about. So, was there a transition where you went, wow? I'm not saying anything against the Catholics, but once you stopped going to the Catholic Church and you went to this church, was there a moment where you're like, I need to recommit, or I need Jesus to understand?
I needed to recommit, because I truly do believe that I had always been committed, always.
Yeah.
I mean, and I believe that. I believe that of my daughter that's Catholic today. She's committed her life.
Yeah, my great grandma was a diehard Catholic. Used to smoke these long cigarettes. A beautiful woman, but I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, she was in heaven. She loved
my mom
Jesus.
Died, my mom died a Catholic, and I absolutely believe that I will see her again someday.
Yeah.
I have no question, and I feel the same way about my daughter. And she's an amazing wife and an amazing mother, and I mean, Catholic to me is just a different form of Christianity.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, again, there'll be Catholics in heaven, just like there'll be,
Yep.
It's. I think sometimes we limit people through our own earthly,
exactly.
you do that. Well, you don't have to do that. So and somehow we set parameters on people. We have no concept or clue of how Jesus is looking at us. Yeah. And when we do that, I think sometimes we rob people, because we say, hey, at my church, you do this, this, and this. And if you're not doing that, and
I can tell you that the exact moment that all the coins fell into the right slots for me, I had spoken to my brother on a Sunday morning after church. I said, look, I have questions, and I really think that you're the one that's going to need to answer them, because you grew up the same way that I did, and you're going to understand the questions that I'm asking you and why. And my biggest question was, why do I need to be baptized? I was baptized. I was baptized as an infant. We all were. And he got a little forceful. But he said, look, sis, you have to make the choice. He said, not that I think that mom and dad did anything wrong making the choice for us, but you are the one.
Yeah.
You have to make the choice.
Yeah, you don't get in heaven on your family's faith. You get on that. You get.
Right. Yeah.
It's your
and
faith.
that's when I started.
It's a one-on-one personal.
Yeah, that's when things really started to fall into place for me. And I really started to think about, and again, I don't think that my parents did anything wrong. I think what they did was beautiful and wonderful, and because they loved me. But as an adult, I needed to choose. I needed to make that choice.
Yeah, of course. I agree with you too. You know, as parents, we do things and we're trying to do the right thing and do it right by our children. So, completely agree. And but what's interesting is I was thinking when we were talking was, he's, got this style of faith and you got this style of faith, and how that kind of
a lot of trial and error.
Searching, yeah. I was searching.
I keep leaning forward. I'm so sorry.
It was a lot of trial and error. It really was. We went to multiple churches, and we went long periods of time not going to any church. And when both of our mothers were still alive, there were times that he would go to his church that he raised his kids in with his mom, because she still went there, and I would go to midnight mass with my mom. I mean, we would separate. It was fine. I mean, it wasn't like...
It wasn't an argument. You just
No,
like, hey,
yeah.
I'm going to go. Yeah.
I'm going with mom, and he would go with his mom. And
No, I get it.
there were times that he came Christmas mass, and I would go where his mom wanted to be. It was never an argument. It just was not...
It just didn't blend.
Mm-mm.
Oh, well.
But now, now you guys are on this same page, right?
3 years it's been, since my brother and his family were baptized.
Yeah.
And 4 months, 4 months since I've been baptized. And it's a different feeling for us, I think.
Yeah. Well,
our marriage is definitely stronger, and been stronger the last 3 or 4 years than it was before. And it was good before.
And it was good before.
But it's even better.
And we have, I think, a lot more patience with each other and understanding. I think we have a lot more patience with our kids, our grandkids. I mean, well, dependent on the day.
Yeah, well,
I mean, we have grandkids from, our oldest is
8, 9.
No, Shay is
Oh, he's
12.
Yeah.
All the way down to the youngest is
6 months.
6 months.
yeah. Well, I think I think we're about the same age. I think our oldest is a little younger, and then our youngest is a little older. But yeah, so we know exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's blended family, right?
Yeah.
We're a blended family, and but we try to operate like when I talk to my grandkids, I'm grandpa. I'm not like, your dad. Your dad's actually this, and I'm.
No.
It's just
No, we're just Pops and Nene.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the name. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
We're grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
My wife's like, that's what I want to be called, and I'm like,
No.
I'm fine with that.
She
So.
didn't want anything to do with grandma, so we saw.
Well, no, that's essentially not true. The nephew that I spoke of that helped baptize me when he was little, he was my first nephew. He couldn't say Aunt Jenny. And so it ended up becoming Anini, and then it got shortened to Nini. So that's what all my nieces and nephews call me, is Nini.
This is crazy. We have my wife's sister's name is Nikki, and they call her Aunt Ninny.
Did he?
Yeah.
And I just, when we started having grandkids, I said, I don't want to be Nini to my nieces and nephews and Nana or something else. Let's just leave it as Nini. So that's what they all call me. And those are my happiest moments, when I hear Nini.
Oh yeah, when I hear, like, because there for a while, Patty and I went through a tough time, and the kids were little, and now they'll come in, and now I'm a cool grandpa, and they'll come in, and I'll hear Grandpa. It's like, yes. So I get it.
I'm a well-trained Nini, according to him.
Yeah, very much.
I'm very much all about what the kids want.
Yeah, my wife is too. I don't mind spoiling the grandkids, but like she's like, she's
Over on a whole nother level.
Yeah, she's like on a whole nother. She's like, oh, they want a brand new car. I want a brand new car. We're not buying a 6. You know what I mean? That's how my wife's like, oh, yeah. And I'm over there going, hey, let's spoil, but she's gonna kill me when she sees.
We
this.
have had some, not arguments, but because we've collected a lot of grandkids over a short amount of time, and every Christmas he'll say, so are you gonna start cutting back since we have 3 more this year than we? Nope.
Yeah, we had this discussion this year.
It is a circus.
I was like, man, Christmas used to be so cool, but now I spend so much money on, And actually, the reality is it's really fun. Like this year, we did really good, and so we got kids stuff they really wanted, and watching them freak out, like, I can't believe I got, But my selfish side is, man, when we were young, we get the kids some cool stuff, but we get ourselves some cool stuff, and so I get it, and I got my set of kids that are getting ready to go through the baby making process, so we're getting ready to start.
Yeah, all over again.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll probably have at least
2, 3 more.
2, 3, maybe 4 more. We'll see.
Yeah.
But I won't change anything about the way that I grandmother.
So now you guys go to church, Do you have like a verse that you stand on, or is it just like I just love them all?
Mhm.
The Philippians one that I love so much.
4:13.
What's
I
it?
can do
About
all.
anxiety.
Oh,
Gosh, I don't remember the number.
I have it posted right in front of my desk in my office.
Yeah.
But it's Philippians.
I don't remember.
that's a cool thing about Scripture.
Cast all your
never-
anxiety onto him.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
that
never
one.
in your office. So
Okay. Yeah, Scripture's pretty cool because
Yeah.
now when you're trying to teach and learn, you need to do it in context. But sometimes you can take a scripture, like my life verse, and it's just the second half. It says it's Colossians 2:20b. It's I've been crucified in Christ, and I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. Or maybe it's the first part of it. But I love that because the idea is then hopefully when I'm out and I'm talking to people that they see the character of Jesus and the fruit of the Spirit
Mm-hmm.
and not Brad. And
Yeah.
because Brad is an arrogant, pompous jerk that all of a sudden get a big head and start thinking, look what I'm doing. And it's like, I don't need to be that way. But that's one thing I really like about Scripture. You know, you're talking about it, you read it in context, and you read the whole thing. But you can pull a Scripture out and say, hey, I'm standing on that promise, or I'm
And it's just in the way you live your life.
Mm-hmm.
You know that, and that's kind of my goal or my philosophy is, you know, if people can see that in me, then they can be rewarded or cherished or whatever. I don't know what the
well, yeah,
terminology is.
I have some. Go ahead.
I had one of my employees tell me a couple weeks ago that her faith has grown because of watching me.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah. And there's people going to be in heaven because of your faith.
you know, I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
you should be proud of it. I mean,
Huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I have two quotes that I really, really love. And one says, preach the gospel to all the world and use words if you have to. And I forget who the guy is that said it. And then my other one is where Jesus goes, he goes with your feet. Who he touches with your hands. Who he sees, he sees with your eyes. And who he loves with your heart.
Yeah.
And that idea is amazing. And sometimes, you know, the world's on fire, right?
Yeah.
You talked about you want to be a police officer right now. The whole world is on fire, and there's controversy about this and controversy about that. And I can't solve those problems, and I have some very strong opinions on things, but I don't share them because I just don't share them.
Yeah.
But instead of going, hey, this is all wrong, what I do or what I try to do, and I fail at this daily, is take each moment, right? I run into Scott. Maybe I can be Jesus to you. Maybe I can be the Bible you read, or you know, I have a difficult conversation with somebody because they're you know, there's lunatics out there.
Mm-hmm.
How can I show the love of God through that? And so, if we can remember that daily, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. That doesn't mean you get taken advantage of or you get treated bad, but at the same time, understand sometimes people are just hurting, and they want to be seen. And the only way they know how to do it is act like a jerk off. And you probably, through your career, seen people, and probably if you look back at it, you could probably name some people that you go, that guy was only acting that way because he was upset about this or he was upset about that. Yeah. And that's Darren shared some of that.
Yeah.
And which is sad because
it is.
It's hurt and anger and sadness. And I think the demons and the devil are kind of part of that too.
Sure,
I'm not saying that they're everywhere and every bad mistake was demon driven, but that doesn't mean there wasn't a demon that made you compromise that got you to that point. But I think it's interesting that you guys came together and you had this style of faith and you had a different style of faith, but at some point you guys came together, found a church that God probably knew well before that he was going to send you to, and brought you guys together. And you know, we've talked about you went through divorce. We just found out that you had gone through a divorce and lost your husband, but still there was a redemptive there was a redemptive power there. And not just a redemptive power where God said, you know, hey, you did good as a Catholic, but he said, I want more from you. I want a better relationship. I want a tighter relationship, and it's changed your life.
We've always, from almost day one, we've always said that God blessed the broken road. That's been our favorite song from Rascal Flatts, because he truly did. We both came off of broken roads, and but he blessed it.
There's a outtake, or it's not an outtake. You ever seen Bruce Almighty?
Long time ago.
Okay, but you know the movie,
Yeah.
and there's deleted scenes, and one of the deleted scenes that they talk about is in the movie he's God, and he's getting all these prayers, and so it's coming in his ear, and so he puts it in a computer, right? And then he's in there and he's answering the questions, and it's kind of a funny scene, and it shows his hand go real fast, and finally he goes, you know what? Forget this, and he hits yes to everything. In the deleted scene, the world's falling apart. And things are going crazy, and then he's freaking out, and God shows up again, and God says, you gave everybody everything they wanted, and it wasn't what they needed. And he said, sometimes the best pictures are painted with the darkest colors.
Yeah.
Again, not that we want to
Right,
make mistakes, but if we do, sometimes those mistakes lead us to places and to people.
Yeah.
That lady who spent a year with you now, if you didn't go through that, you may still be struggling.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Who
not know
knows?
who you
Who
are
knows?
in Christ. And,
Yeah.
and you, who knows?
Yeah.
And who knows where I am. But I think that's the beauty of the gospel.
Yeah.
Is
Absolutely.
we take brokenness and turn it into, we take the, what was that? The traveled road, what's that song?
Broken road.
I know.
God
Oh.
bless the broken road.
Yeah, we take the broken road
Yeah.
and we turn it into a highway
Yeah.
that other people can get on and see.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So I want to thank you both so much for being a part of this podcast and being willing to come in and share. And I know in the beginning you kind of alluded to that you were a little nervous, but you nailed it.
I'm still a little nervous.
Well, don't be. I wouldn't be surprised if you don't get some offers to be in another movie or something. So, but I do want to thank you so much for coming in and being willing to share and talk about these kind of things, and really interesting getting to know you guys, and I look forward to hopefully continuing to build a friendship and see where things go.
Yep.
You know, and 10 years from now, look at the way God orchestrated all this and how it played out, and that's kind of cool. I've been to that, and I haven't attended, but like I said, I used to go into Murray. It was my Monday, and they have 3 cans that sit in the back, and I had to pick those up, and I never even thought about who goes there or who attends there.
Yeah.
And we drive by churches all the time. We don't think.
Sure.
We're just like, look at that church, and now but there's lives in there that are being changed and taken care of. So,
Awesome.
Any last words?
Oh, I thank you for
Yes,
making
thank you.
this medium and this platform available, so that like you said, we can tell his story through our story.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing story.
And
it really is.
That's in our opinion, that's the best way to share the gospel.
Yeah.
What about you? You got any advice for a young lady at 19 who's out there drinking beer? Don't get pulled over.
Don't get pulled over.
I gotta stop leaning
Be
forward.
smart. I'm old enough to realize, I think, that people are going to do what they're going to do, but be smart, fall back on God, rely on Him. That would be my advice. Yeah. Be smart.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah, and God's not going to take the consequence. He'll get you through it. It doesn't mean you don't have to take
Exactly.
the consequence. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
But again, thank you so much for your time today and being open and
Yeah.
vulnerable and being able to share things. Sometimes people are afraid to say, what took place, but you guys weren't. You were willing, and thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for being here for Battleground Believers. Want to send a special shout out to Randy. We haven't done this in a while, so my pomp and circumstance and my rhythm and my cadence is off. Again, we want to give a shout out to Randy Barr and the 2 Bar Blues. I always put the S on the bars. The 2 Bar Blues Studio, which is our home studio, and the fact that he's our engineer, he does a great job and has this all set up, and spent the time to shoot this and edit it and make me look so good on camera. Again, remember, all that call on the name of the Lord shall be saved. Battleground Believers, out.
Thank you, sir.